I thank the senator from Connecticut and the senior senator from Connecticut for their leadership. And before I ask my question, I want to read something that I received just about a half hour ago from a constituent. Dear Senator Schatz, I'm following the filibuster online, and though I know you don't need more convincing about what we need to do, I thought to reach out to you anyway. Like many Americans, I felt so paralyzed since Sunday's shooting in Orlando. On Sunday afternoon, I brought my 4-year-old to the campus, the University of Hawaii campus, for a film screening, and I found myself for the very first time strategizing about where to sit and what I would do if there was an active shooter, and how I could best cover my son's body if we couldn't escape. I am not an anxious person by nature, but I refuse to accept that powerlessness to gun violence must be accepted as our new normal. I work diligently at my job and as a mom and to care for my own kids and the community of students I work for, and I am intentional in trying to create opportunities for their growth and learning. So it seems completely insane that in 2016 we have nothing more inspiring to offer a nation of families other than hoping that loved ones are not in the wrong place at the wrong time. That is totally unacceptable to me, and I'm willing to help in any community or national efforts to bring about the necessary change. I have personally sent postcards to every senator who voted against background checks. Please let your supporters in Hawaii know what we need to do. I will show up. Hashtag not one more. Your constituent, Vanessa Ito. And I really want to thank Senator Murphy for his leadership in this. And this is really moral leadership. I was in the chair, the presiding chair, and both Senator Murphy and I were new to the Senate under very, very different circumstances, in a lot of ways, both tragic circumstances. But I was sitting in that chair, and Chris Murphy gave his maiden speech, and he was my friend. We had sort of just met and become fast friends, and the first speech he gave was on this topic, and I understood his personal passion. But what he's doing now is bigger than that. He has displayed physical courage, emotional courage, and political courage that I think we couldn't imagine even at the beginning of the week. And even though all of us are committed to this issue, he shocked our conscience in that caucus room and laid down a marker for all of us to do better and to do more. And I just want to say one thing before I go into a sort of preamble to my question, and that is this. My instinct about this is that our political opponents absolutely rely upon our being despondent. I think they absolutely rely upon the idea that we will give up by the end of the week, that we get our memo about this week it's the National Defense Authorization, and next week it's the Commerce, Justice, and Science appropriations measure, and every week it's a different topic. And Donald Trump will say something and distract the national media, and everybody will move on. But here is why I am so hopeful about what has happened today. It's not just that we have a bunch of members of the United States Senate on the floor pretty late at night. It is very difficult to get any of us together for anything other than lunch, for anything. And yet here we are. And Senator Murphy, you know, he did some recruiting through staff and everything else, but this was organic. We saw what was happening, and we wanted to offer our moral support, and not, frankly, to him as a friend and a colleague, but to everybody across the country who deserves people who are going to fight on this issue. And the other really exciting thing that is happening is outside of the Senate, and that's more important. The gallery doesn't usually get more and more crowded through the day. People visit, you know. People do their Capitol tour, and they come and they check out the gallery, and then we're yammering at each other, or we're voting, and we're shuffling around, and then they leave. But what's happening in the gallery physically is people are actually coming to see that something meaningful is happening. And Senator Murphy's phone lines are ringing off the hook. Chris Murphy himself is the #1 trending topic on Facebook. And it's not about Chris Murphy. It's about this sense that maybe we can actually do something here. Maybe we can actually do something here. And so for all of those people who are watching this online or observing it on Twitter or hearing about it for the first time, I want people to understand that this is the continuation of a movement, but this is an inflection point at which we are not going to accept that if 90% of the public is demanding that we take action, that the United States Senate and the United States House won't. That is unacceptable to me.